Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. No Tidey this week. It's just Jimmy, so there's no positively awesome wrestling. It's just something completely different. I couldn't think of nothing, so I just went with a straight up Q&A. I see people doing them from time to time. I think I got some good answers, so I'm gonna do it myself. That's what I went with here. We got David in the chat. Thank you, David, for joining me. I think we'll have a few more here in just a minute, so I'm gonna give it a second. I got some good questions. I was really appreciative of those. If you haven't already checked it out, I got some little prizes for the people that could win. So if you haven't checked that out, you should be checking that out. And yeah, that's what I say about that. What's that? Turn that off. But yeah, I'm just doing a straight up Q&A. Before I do the Q&A, I'm gonna talk about a few things that happened this week in wrestling because at the end of the day, that's what I'm here for. That's what the show is for. Talk about the rasslin that goes on. Looking good, babe. Thank you, babe. You looking good as well as always. I thank you very, very, very much. So I guess the first I'm gonna talk about is this whole Bobby Lashley. The Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Omos, Bray Wyatt situation because that is just straight up wild. I don't believe we're getting Bobby or Brock and Omos, but it's probably a possibility. That's wild to me. I'm really hoping there's a swerve coming up though. But that's that. That's just a very, very, very strange match to make for WrestleMania. Man, that's a weird one. What David got? Weekly Wars time. Match of the week. Orange Cassidy defeats Wheeler Utah. I will stand by that one. I'll second that one. That was a fun match, and that's exactly what AEW needs more of to start the show off. Match of the week. Got Mickey James defeats Slamovic. Tag team Bullet Club defeats Time Machine. Okay, I was about to say Motor Machine. Oh man, that would be crazy. Time Machine. I see it now. And then Mickey James. Yeah, okay. Muta Show and Rampage. What's that about? What's men's wrestler of the week? Muta Show. Oh, you think the show of the week was Rampage? That's interesting. I do think Rampage was better this week, but that's interesting. I will talk about the Cassidy and Wheeler Utah match because what I have noticed with AEW is when they focus on the I hate using the term WWE guys, the ex-WWE guys, and they focus on the guys that just kind of helped that show grow with Orange Cassidy, Wheeler Utah, people like that, Darby Allin, those guys. When you focus on those, I feel like the show is infinitely better. Like it's not even debatable for me, at least. I watch it and I'm like, okay, this is how you start the show off. I don't want to see Jon Moxley against so-and-so to start the show because I know that Jon Moxley is going to win that match 9,999 times out of 10,000 times. Like, I know that. You give me a match like that. Hey, I thought for example, Wheeler Utah could pull that out. I like that. I think you got to focus more on those kind of matches. But on the flip side of that, you put Jon Moxley and Evil Uno in the main event, and I wasn't even mad at that. I thought Evil Uno came out looking great. The usual people bitching about blood. Deal with it, man. You just don't watch. Like, that's all I got to say about it. People have styles. Jon Moxley's style is obviously I'm gonna bleed. that's what we got to say. That's what they got away from when all the Fed guys came in, and they're getting away from that. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I think they had a moment there after the whole media scrum where they were really focusing on that, and the shows were top tier. The 3 weeks where they were over 1 million each week, and I'm not a ratings guy, but I know there are people, so I'll use the terminology for those people. The ratings were just continuously over 1 million. Then they started doing something. It started going back to what they were doing prior to the media scrum, and then the show kind of started. It was too iffy, wishy-washy. 2 weeks ago we had a really bad Dynamite, but then this week they brought it back. Really good Dynamite. Last week they also had a bad Rampage, and I'm a person that watches Rampage every single week. I'm one of the few 100,000 that do. I watch it every single week. This week they bounced back. I thought it was really good. Yeah, exactly. Hobbs. That's one. I'm very curious what's going on with Hobbs. Man, it's just wild to me. But yeah, I'm so on board with AEW. I want that to be known because a lot of people are just straight up trashing it, and it's just like, watch the show. Just watch it. Don't watch clips. Don't listen to the people who aren't watching it and shitting on it. Watch it. And I have a hard time believing anybody who enjoys professional wrestling is tuning in to watch these shows and is like, these suck. That's how good it is to me. Again, last week, strike it from the record book. Remove it from the history of anything and everything because it was bad. Everything else this year has been top notch for AEW, and I hope they continue it. But let's see. I'm not going to talk on SmackDown. The Sami. I feel wrong talking about Sami Zayn stuff without Tidey here, so I'll skip over that. No PAW. Tidey's busy this week. He got new stuff going on, so I'm doing the Q&A this week. Feel free to drop questions in the chat as well. I'll still pick a winner from that if it meets the criteria. When will I be able to watch the Ring of Honor though? Is it available to watch right now, or they just do the tapings for it? I'm curious. I might be going to some of these tapings. It's not that far. I go down there a lot too, so I might have to check that out. But yeah, SmackDown. We got Drew McIntyre coming out to face off against Gunther, so that's interesting. I really hope Sheamus gets added that. So I don't want to just be Sheamus or Gunther and Drew. Okay, so it filmed. So it filmed and it's going to air on March 2nd. Okay, that's a good deal. That's this Thursday, I think. Yeah, because that's when Ring of Honor is going to be on Thursdays. Poor Impact. Anyway, enough of this. We're going to get to the questions. And as I said, anybody that joins the chat, in the chat, whatever, you want to ask a question, just drop it in there. I'll pull it up and I'll read those too. And again, I might add it to, you might win. I'm pulling a random one and I'm pulling out the best question. I do have a best question right now. That can change before the show's over. So get them in. Starting off with the first one, my main man, Andy. Maybe you know him from TAWT, Transatlantic Wrestling Talk with it's Andy and Dale. We got Andy here asking the question, and he wants to know what I think of the Observers Awards. And I'm glad he asked it because I was like, man, this was a big topic this week and nobody asked me about it. And then he slipped it in there. So thank you, Andy. I appreciate it. What did you think of the Observer Awards? And I'll put it like this. It is what it is. That's my mind. That's the way she goes. I don't give it any stock. I used to because I was a silly little man like most people. But I don't give it any stock because I know that the fans who are paying to vote are the people who are picking these winners. I don't have anything in common with those people. We all like wrestling. They like a different style. They hate the stuff I like. That's how it is. It is what it is. Nobody is going to like everything. I'm okay with that. It's all subjective, and this is no different. It just because it has Dave's name attached to it, people just get all amped up about it. We did a poll for Wrestle Buddy Awards at the end of the year last year, and literally WWE won everything. It was like, what the heck? I wasn't even a fan of that, but that is what it is. That's the Wrestle Buddy fan base. They're going to choose the things that they choose to watch. Same with the Wrestling Observer News award show. So every website has an audience, and that audience, the website attracts a certain fan base. The fan base they're attracting is the stuff that we saw win and the stuff they were shitting on. So that's my thoughts on the Observer. I really don't put that much stock into it anymore. I do find some things a little silly, but what can you do? It's just the way those people were thinking. So it's not Dave. I even saw Dave even defending a few WWE things. So, and nobody was bringing that up. So kudos to Dave on that. But yeah, that's all I got to say about the Observer Awards. I don't think anybody should be putting stock into it unless you're one of the people who pay to get the newsletters and get the chance to vote. Then you can put all the stock in it you want. You're like, okay, yeah, I pay my $12, and Jon Moxley was Wrestler of the Year. That's cool. All you, buddy. I have not. I feel like the biographies, I've seen most of what they're doing. They're just rehashing it over and over again with like what was the NWO one a few weeks ago or that? I don't know. There's just so much wrestling content now that I feel watching biographies and things is taking away from the time to watch the actual wrestling product that's in front of us now. Maybe one day I'll check them out, but unless they're giving me something that I have not seen before, I know nothing about, I don't feel like I should watch it. Drew and Sheamus, Gunther could steal the whole. Oh yeah, and I'll get to that because I have a question that kind of revolves around it. If you go after WWE fan base, your awards will skew WWE. The same. Exactly. That's all it is. It's just fan base, man. It blows my mind that like we should all know this by now, but yet people are still every single time getting so upset when these things come out. Like, just stop. Because if they were coming the other way, then it would just be flipped. The people who are mad now would be so happy, and the people that are happier now would be like, this is bullshit. I don't think y'all are that stupid. Yeah, I got Last of Us too. That's on right now, I think. Silly me doing a show when Last of Us is on. Anyway, next up, got main man David. He's in the chat. I got some questions for him. It's at Dexter Whitehausen on Twitter for those who are wanting to check it out. David's a good dude. I appreciate everything Dave does. Me and him go head to head on some things, on some ideas, but we've never gone. It's never gotten sour or bad, any of that. So Dave's a good dude. So his first question that he had to ask me: if we get Okada teaming up with Mercedes against Kenny and a mystery opponent, who is your pick to join Kenny to face against? We got Tom in the chat. What up, Tom? What up? Thank you for joining me, bud. Who would my mystery opponent be that tags up with Kenny to take on Okada and Mercedes Moné? I think there's two obvious answers here. Two very obvious. It's Riho or Hikaru Shida. I think those are the two that pop into my head like immediately. I have zero interest in Riho though. I just whatever it is about her, nothing appeals me. Like it just doesn't work for me. So I don't want to see Riho. I think Hikaru Shida would be great though, especially from a heelish side, because I think Hikaru Shida is much more entertaining as the heel instead of playing like the just cookie cutter baby face stuff she was doing when she was AEW champion. It was boring to me, but I think Kenny and Hikaru Shida versus Okada and Mercedes would be the match to make there. I'm sure there's more in Stardom and all that I just don't know about. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But I like being able to pick up. So, yeah, Hikaru Shida is my choice to join Kenny there to face Okada. Let's see. It is. Yeah, it is. But I don't want to wait too long. I don't like spoilers. The biography is on Jake the Snake. And I've seen a lot on Jake the Snake and the rivals, Mankind, Undertaker. They're probably going to spend so much time just showing me footage of Mankind being thrown off the Hell in a Cell. Like I've seen it. So it's nothing new. Like I would watch it if I don't have anything to do and it pops on, but I'm not actively going out to watch it just because we've seen it. She would be quite interesting. Yeah, I think it would be good. I think it's a quality opponent for Mercedes. The next question that David had asked me is, I love this question. I saw he took it from Sean Ross Sapp, so I had to disqualify it from best question. But it is a very great question. I really appreciate it because I had so much fun figuring it out. If you had to make an all-time WrestleMania card based on past matches, how would it look? You can only use one wrestler, You can only use a wrestler one time each, so he can't be in multiple matches. That made things extremely difficult. And the criteria was he wants 2 world title matches, 2 women's titles matches, a celebrity match, an out of retirement match, a past first present, a tag title match, a secondary title match, 1 more miscellaneous match. And then on top of all that, I added another one in there. I had to. I'm sorry. I broke the rules just a little bit, but that's just what it is that I do. So the match that I added, this is the bonus match. Before I even get into it, there is some glaring there are some names that are just gone off this list that I feel ashamed. But I didn't just pick matches and put them on the card. I thought a lot about what matches I was choosing, why I was choosing them, and why I'm picking this match over one that has this person that's not even on the card. The biggest name, and it's insane to me. I hate it so much because I love him so much. I think he's the greatest of all time. As far as in ring, the whole shebang, Shawn Michaels, Mr. WrestleMania. I don't have a match with Shawn Michaels in this. And that's not a knock on Shawn because clearly he's Mr. WrestleMania. And I just said that I think he's the best to ever do it. But when I'm trying to look at his matches and compare them to other matches that I felt were needed, he just got ousted. His catalog of matches is just phenomenal, but I don't think any of them stood above the ones I chose. The only one that might have gotten, I had Streak versus Career on here originally, but then I replaced it because I felt there was another Undertaker match that was much more deserving, and that's the match I'm starting my show off with. It's my extra bonus match that I'm adding in there. I'm putting Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker from WrestleMania 30 as the first match. I want people's minds to be blown right away. They're sucked in, and we going. That's what I went for here. What's going on here? Then after that, none of the other ones are in order. I do have a last match, which I'll say last, but on top, then my original miscellaneous match that he had asked for, I'm doing Bret Hart versus Stone Cold submission match from WrestleMania 13. In my opinion, I won't say the best. It's my second best match of all time. That's what I'll say about it. That's how highly I tout it, and I think a lot of other people do too. There's no WrestleMania card being created by Jimmy Bebe without putting Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13 on. Just ain't happening. Next up, a secondary title. I'm doing the Intercontinental title match between Macho Man Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat from WrestleMania 3. I don't think I need to explain it. And if you don't know, you go figure it out because it was a banger, as Sheamus would say, banger. After that, that's the secondary title match. A tag title match. I'm cheating on this one. I'm cheating because I had another match, but I had to scrap it. I had TLC in here, but I had to scrap it because I used someone else in a different match. So I'm cheating with this one. The match hasn't happened yet, but it's happening this year. I've finally accepted it. So because of the fact I'm finally accepting it, everyone's just going to have to just be okay with the fact that I'm picking it. I'm taking the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens because why the heck not? It's going to be a great match. The story is beautiful, and it deserves a spot on this WrestleMania card, the best WrestleMania card of all time. So the out of retirement match, I'm doing the hardcore match between Mick Foley and Edge at WrestleMania 22 because there wasn't a whole lot that I could choose from here with as far as coming out of retirement matches. It was very, very slim pickings as far as WrestleMania matches. This one was easily the best one to me, so that's why it's there 100%. The celebrity match, we're doing Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow, baby, because I know there's celebrities that have been better than Lawrence Taylor, but I think this match was probably the most entertaining as far as what I had at my fingertips. I wasn't picking Pat McAfee and Austin Theory. I wasn't picking the Bad Bunny tag match. Sorry. As fun as Bad Bunny was, the match wasn't anything stupendous. WWE's new favorite word. So I think Bam Bam Bigelow versus Lawrence Taylor was fantastic for what it was, and that's my celebrity match. Brett versus Steve was the last time I gave 10 minutes until the show. Yeah, absolutely. It's just such a fucking great match. I think that's the match I've seen more than any other match is the Brett versus Steve WrestleMania 13 one. But next up, we have two women's title matches. Number one going to be the Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair from WrestleMania 38 last year because it was absolutely freaking beautiful. And then my other one was the WWE Women's title match between Trish Stratus and Mickie James for WrestleMania 22. And I'm picking that one not necessarily for the match itself, but for the program that led up to it and the impact that the match had on the women's division moving forward. I think that was the first time we actually got a really, really great woman angle as far as WWE. It was on WrestleMania, the biggest show of the year, and it really just helped solidify Mickie James. And I think Trish was already solidified at that point, but it just, I guess, showed her star power and what she was able to do with Mickie James in that match and everything about it. It was great. Right there. So those are my two women's matches. And then for the two world title matches, I'm taking I played a little bit favor here and you just have to deal with it. The WWE title, Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20. That's not my favorite. That's not my favor. I'm not showing favoritism there, but I just think that one's going in there. And that one's a problem because just a lot of other people had already been used. So I couldn't pick certain matches because other people had already been used and stuff. Undertaker was gone. Stone Cold was gone. Macho Man was gone. You haven't got to my main event yet, but 2 people in that are taken away from it. So I just had to kind of go with there's nothing wrong with Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero. I just feel like there's been better ones. But Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero from WrestleMania 20, fantastic match, though. I ain't mad about putting it on there. And then the second one is the World Championship, the WWE. No, it's the World Heavyweight Championship between Chris Jericho and CM Punk at WrestleMania 28 because I really enjoyed the program there. Chris Jericho, I feel like he's been getting his flowers lately, and I'm putting CM Punk on my card 100%. So those are my 2 tight world title matches. And then my main event is present versus past. Maybe I cheated on this one too because he wasn't really a member of the past yet, but I think he was. The greatest match in the history of professional wrestling. Argue with your mama. I don't care. The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. Whoo! That's my main event. So let's get this on here. They put Mickey and Trish on the map and got them noticed and they delivered on a little bit. And yeah, absolutely. So that's why I went for Impact on that match, just like I went for Impact with my past versus present main event, Rock and Hogan, and then also my extra bonus one, the Undertaker, Brock. Those are all impactful moments. I felt like you add those to a show that already has stupendous wrestling, like Macho Man and Ricky Steamboat, Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero, Usos versus Sammy and KO, which is going to fucking slap. Brett versus Stone Cold. I put a lot of great wrestling. I put a lot of impactful moments. I feel like I did a great job there. You can grade that card, Dave. I'd really appreciate you letting me know how I did on that one. But yes, I did enjoy that one. That was a great question. I really appreciate it. And then he's asked, with the success of Mercedes and the ladies of WWE paying attention, what would your top 3 be that may go that same route when their contracts are up? And to be honest, I really can't think of any of them that I can say 100% would do it at this point. I think they have a lot of momentum on their side. I think a lot of people are seeing what Triple H is doing and they want to stick with it. I'm not hearing any news about people being disgruntled or anything like that. You just kind of hear the rumor every once in a while that Vince is in charge, and then that shit gets swept under the rug because it ain't true, and then everything goes back to being hunky-dory. But I will try. I can't think, like I said, I can't think of any that I would 100% say would. But if I had to take some guesses, Bayley is at the top of that just because of her connections with Mercedes, Joshua, we're going to call her. Io Shirai, just because I feel like she has so much more to offer than what they're going to allow her to do in WWE. It just really depends on her mindset and how she feels about it. And then 3, I would say Asuka. And that's a kind of a crazy one, but I feel I can see Asuka just leaving and kind of doing the last hurrah, the retirement run. Because, I mean, she's up there in age. She still has a lot to give. But once her run's over, I could see her, I guess, doing that just to get that last run in. That's a great match, but it wasn't. It was that was King Ring though. So come here, get out of there. Cat's going crazy again. And then hold up, where did this one go? David asked one last question. He snuck this one on me. I'll have to go find it real quick. Where'd it go? With AEW's relationship, this is another good question. With AEW's relationship with New Japan and Noah looking to be as strong as ever, and their working relationships with various Indian promotions, do you ever see WWE being able to make inroads with crossovers given their reputation? Yes, I can. We've already started to kind of see it. Shinsuke, what was it? Noah with Great Muta. I feel like there was another one. They used to not even want their people to be seen at these shows, and they've had no problem with that lately. I think it's only a matter of time. I said that I think it would be possible, very unlikely, but very possible that WWE and AEW could be working together by the end of the year. I honestly believe it's not a reality. It's not going to happen, but I think it's very possible. I think it could happen. I think the key here is, I know I'm going to get called a WWE homer for this one, but I do have my reasons for it. AEW is going to have to look at the bigger picture here and be like, we are the small fish in this big pond here. We can't go into it the same way we go into New Japan or with Impact, because they're the bigger fish there as far as the market in America goes. They're not the big fish with WWE, so they can't sit there and be the ones going over. Like you gotta suck it. And I know that sucks because WWE won't do it. We've seen maybe Triple H will. I don't know. But if it was Vince, you know he's not going to do it. We saw it with the fucking Invasion. That's why the Invasion flopped and sucked and was just it's horrible because his pride got in the way and he let his boys just run rampant on the WCW guys. But if you're going to do a crossover with these, you can't just have one team just completely squashing the rest. Some of them got to take some pins. Some people got to eat shit here. If they can work past whatever problems they have or they seem to have or tell us they have, I don't know, whatever the case may be, if they can work past those and give us, I think it would be phenomenal for professional wrestling. And everyone's like, what does WWE have to gain from this? I don't know. Getting some of these fans back that they've lost over the years. That's a good enough reason to do it. You can start running bigger things if you get more fans back. Like, so that's my thing. I do think WWE can find a way into all this. We'll just see how long it takes to get there. Get up there. So that's the questions that Dave hit me with. Good questions. I really appreciate it. And again, Dexter Whitehausen on Twitter. Check him out. He is a great dude and he knows his wrestling. Bay Live and Alexa My 3. A lot of others have been outside the WWE environment, so they know they can. Yeah, they know they can. I just don't think there's a reason for them to do it at this point. I think if they feel like they're being creatively pleased and they're getting these paychecks, these paychecks working for the biggest wrestling promotion in the world, and they want to like cozy, like yeah. The only one I can see Liv, I don't see Alexa. I think if Alexa's done with WWE, she's done with wrestling. I think she's gonna go to Hollywood or whatever else she wants to do. I don't see Alexa wrestling past WWE. There you go. I'll watch that one. I do like the Most Wanted Treasure one. Me and Prince, we love that show. It's really good. So with that, we're gonna move on to the Violent Gentleman, Miles Blackwell. If you don't know, check the man out. Love this dude. Wrestles for CCW. I went and saw him a few months ago. Great dude. Awesome follow on Twitter. He's hilarious. He thinks logically. He's an awesome dude. All around great dude. I love him. He hit me up with a question. Much appreciated, Miles, if you're watching. He asked, name one classic movie that absolutely should never be remade. I named more than one because I love movies, and I'm gonna do that. He, like I said, he said one, but I'm gonna name a few. It's my show. I'll do what I want. First and foremost, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. It doesn't need to be touched. Leave it how it is. Play it 24/7 on channel. I'll watch it all the time. You don't need to fix it. It's fantastic. The Princess Bride should never be touched. It should just never be touched. I don't care what you want to do, what you think. Just don't touch it. Don't touch it. Princess Bride. And then I'm gonna throw this one in for my girl. If she's watching, I hope she's watching. She's gonna pop. I've only watched it once, but I know it is a very big cult classic, and I know the people who love it. You don't touch it. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Don't touch it. Scarface. Don't touch it. And I had another one I just forgot about, lost it. So that is what it is. So I picked those four for movies that should just never be remade. Just don't touch them. They would gain the fact that they would show they could be trusted. You don't work with people you don't trust. And right now, that's not a rep that he has. And I think that's changing. Again, under Vince, 100%. I agree 100%. But I think it's changing big time. Like everything else with WWE. I think the reputation, the way they do things. Oh my goodness, she told me something. I just think that's all changing. So they did a remake of Rocky. I've never heard of this. I won't acknowledge it. How about that? Courtney says, "I know my wrestlers." Yeah. You ain't asked no questions. I'm praising Dave. He has questions. I'm putting him over. But yeah, you know you're wrestling too. Dave says she knows the wrestling. She does watch a lot of different ones. There you go. Here's some more. Back to the Future, Breakfast Club, Pulp Fiction. I don't really care about Back to the Future, but I know it is a huge cult classic, so you don't touch it. Breakfast Club. I think you could. I don't think there's a reason to. I think you could. And Pulp Fiction, no. Nothing by Quentin Tarantino. Don't remake anything by Quentin Tarantino. It's silly. Some of his are actually remakes, so it wouldn't make sense. Next up, it's from my main man, Albert Albanese. He is a member of the new Wrestle Buddy team. Much appreciated for the question, buddy. And if you don't know, you should definitely check him out as well. Great dude. It was a tribute at best. I've never even heard you talk about it. It is a remake, but the remake is better than the original. I've seen the original. I know it's a remake. You don't remake the remake. The remake was for what it is, it's perfect. But the original one's fine too. Like, but my man Albert Albanese, he says, do you think the titles should split as soon as Roman Reigns loses them, or should someone else beat Cody or whoever ends up beating Roman, Cody, for one of the titles to split them up? And I'm gonna say this: in a perfect world, I see Cody just relinquishing one of those titles after WrestleMania, because I am of the belief that Cody Rhodes is winning. Oh, excuse me, at WrestleMania. The biggest babyface move he could ever do is just come out, say, "Hey, I don't want to hold both of these shows hostage with these titles." It's just not the thing to do. It's been going on for too long. Roman has held WWE hostage for too long. And I'm going to relinquish one of these titles. And he should relinquish the Universal one, because the WWE title is his mission. Relinquish the Universal title. Bring back the Winged Eagle belt, which is what we all assume he's going to do. And then just run a tournament on SmackDown. Whoever wins it there, Gunther, go for, I don't know. But that's how I would do that as far as splitting the titles. He said Roman is going to, I just don't think so. It wouldn't surprise me, I guess. I just don't think so. I think Cody wins. If they don't, what do you do? What do you do? You had the two biggest babyfaces you've had in years, and they both just got smashed by Roman. Who's next? Who steps up and takes that from him? Is you going to save this moment for Gunther? Are you really going to do that? I don't think so. And Roman apparently has a long break after WrestleMania where he's not scheduled for a lot of stuff. So I really don't think he's retaining. That would be crazy if he retained. I'll say that. I think you could. No, okay. No, I'm thinking of thing. I'm thinking of a different one. The Thing. Don't touch it. Thing's great. But yeah. So that's how I responded to that, Albert. Man, I think there's a lot of stuff you could do with it though. So it's very hard. But that's what I would do. That's what I would do. I mean, man, Russ Morgan. What up, Russ? He ain't in here, but when he watches, what up, Russ? He asked Stone Cold or Bill Goldberg, and this is the most easiest question I've ever been asked in my entire life. Without hesitation, the answer to this question will always be and never be anything other than Stone Cold Steve Austin. When Bill Goldberg was at the height of his career and everyone loved Bill Goldberg, I still hated Bill Goldberg. I still hated this man with a passion. I wanted to see Stone Cold whoop his ass, and I still want to see Stone Cold whoop his ass. So the question is always going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, Russ. That's straight up. Bill Goldberg can suck an egg. I don't care for him. He says he's too close to 100,000 days, and if they're hot and horny to get the Dwayne in the plane with. I don't think Dwayne is even a thought anymore. I really don't. I think people need to get over that one. I just done with that one. Done. And 1,000 days thing, again, I think that's a Vince thing. I don't think it's a Triple H thing. I think he loses the rest of it. I'm very strong in that belief. Next up, we got some questions from my better half on the show, Tidey. His first question says, have you not seen Everything Everywhere All at Once yet? No, Tidey, I have not. I apologize. I know that you mentioned it to me because it is in my head for recommendations. Like, I know I need to watch this movie. I remember Tidey told me to watch it. Just haven't had time. And that list grows, just grows over, and it never ends. It never ends. But it is on the list. I do plan on checking it. Do you ever choreograph wrestling fight scenes with action figures as a kid? And if you did, was it G.I. Joe? Because they were king. I did have G.I. Joes. I did not wrestle with them, though. I wrestled with wrestlers. My friends had wrestlers, so that's where I did it. I did do it every once in a while with my X-Men or my Power Rangers, for sure. And I still do it from time to time. When I'm playing with the Drip Prince, we do a little wrestling. I choreograph wrestling. We've even done some photo shoots with them where I did G up Jimmy right here. Where'd he go? He gone. I don't know where he went. Boom. Where'd he go? Anyway, I got my custom Jimmy figure. Boom, right here, right in front of my face. Boom. He whooped Ronda Rousey's ass a few months ago, and I put that up there. So yeah, I still do it, Tidey, every once in a while. he's questioning this graphic right here. Boom, boom, boom. Let me pull it back up. He said, "Is this the Razor walk down the aisle?" Yes, it is. So with that, right here, Amanda. Yeah, Spooky's our jam. So she's referring to the conversation going on. But Amanda here, my beautiful, beautiful lady is a world-class, wonderful photographer. And we do a lot of photo shoots that are a lot of fun. And every time we do these, I try to incorporate that walk in somehow, some way. I just try to. I'm just going to till the end of time. I just love it. I love Scott. I love the move. I'm gonna do it. So yes, it is absolutely the Scott Hall walk down the thing. Tidey is Jimmy's work husband for sure. I got two great better halves. Can't ask for anything better. She does make me watch a lot of nonsense. Most of it I do like. I do definitely, yeah. She's Outer Banks. I've never heard anything about Outer Banks, and Spooky is our jam, as I just put that 100%. Yeah, I got the scary. I'm the man to go to for the scary stuff. But anyway, question. Tidey, back with the Tidey questions. He said, "Do you think the WWE game this year will be decent? Is it worth full price?" And I will say this. I thought WWE 2K22 was a perfect wrestling game. So until they move away from that and I guess digress, as long as they can progress from that or stay very similar to that, just update my rosters, give me some new arenas to wrestle in, things like that. Definitely worth the price of admission. We got the NWO version last year, and I ain't even mad about it. I was still playing this thing last week, and that never happens with a wrestling game. After about 4 or 5 months, I'm done. I still play this one. It's really good. So if 2K23 is anything like 2K22, worth the full price of admission. I can incorporate that one in there too, for sure. There you go. I do that walking to dinner. I do that walking anywhere. Yeah. Matter of fact, next photo shoot we do, that's his fault, man. It's his fault, babe. It's Dave's fault. I'm gonna slap my belly. I'm gonna pull my shirt up, slap my belly, just like I'm Kamala. Anyway, Tidey says, "Do fart jokes really get old? Are they in bad taste?" Yes, Tidey, they stink. He says he's on this NXT shit. NXT is getting better. There are some real characters going around. Are you watching it weekly yet? No, I just can't, man. I just can't. I watch Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown and Rampage at this point weekly. So that's 3 nights of wrestling. I think that's my cutoff. Too many other things I got going on. And nothing I've seen on NXT when I do tune in goes over what I see on Raw, Rampage, or not Rampage, SmackDown, and Dynamite. Those 3 shows are just significantly better than NXT. I will say, there are some people on NXT I love. I strip love. Grayson Waller is fantastic. I'm glad everyone's finally recognizing what this man has to offer. Obviously, Carmelo Hayes is the truth. Tiffany Stratton she's amazing at what she's doing. There's a lot of talent there I do like watching. Unfortunately, the show overall is just too juvenile for me. I know that sounds crazy because I watch fucking SmackDown and Raw, but it's nothing compared to NXT in the juvenile department. I will say this as well, though. After Stand and Deliver, so I will watch Stand and Deliver. I might go ahead and give NXT another try. It's a reset. Let's see what the new people got to offer. We're going to have some people called up. You're going to get people some new opportunities. I'll check it out. Give it a few weeks. Better be better than what it is for the last few times I've seen it, though. That's what I'll say about NXT. Watch NXT. If I'm home and there's nothing to do and I'm just like, fuck, I'll watch NXT. I'll watch it. There's just never anything that makes me want to come back. That's the problem. Nothing good enough. I'll put it that way. I have to look away for too gory sometimes, even all the bloody matches. Yeah, she don't like John Moxley matches. That's for damn sure. Tegan skills not tasting the rainbow. That was bad. Ronda has to stop speaking. I'm not going to defend Ronda. You know damn well I'm not going to defend Ronda. I've been asking him every Tuesday. He keeps saying no, and I missed the whole story with Gigi. We did see part of it. We the match, the 3-way match. We saw them two getting into it, so we saw a little bit. Stratton, awesome. Roxy, awesome. Waller is awesome. I do like Zoe. I think she needs to just get something. She's missing something. You can't watch his matches. He bleeds. You turn away. Don't call me a liar. Oof, the GG story. I've been following the GG story, but I also didn't like what they did with it. I'll just say that I didn't like what they did with it. So, and then his last question, Tidey's last question, really good question here. Do you think Becky and Seth's child is going to have crazy wrestling genetics and possibly be the greatest human inside a ring? Possibly, but what? I don't even know what that is. What you're talking about? If my mommy and daddy were Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, I wouldn't go anywhere near a wrestling ring. The hype would be too much to overcome. 100%. There's no way I'm stepping foot inside a ring. This is just not happening. I'm just gonna go find another career path. But if they do choose, if Rude decides to become a wrestler, no doubt in my mind, will be really fantastic. I just wouldn't try. I wouldn't even try because Becky Lynch is the GOAT of female wrestling, and Seth Rollins, in my opinion, is the GOAT of this current crop of generation. So that's some big shoes to fill. I wouldn't even try. I really wouldn't even try. It's not that good of a story. This is not. It's been done before. It's been the exact same story has been done before. So it's just not. So promotion getting rid of one of their top teams in a promotion that has no women tag teams. It was a very, very, it wasn't an interesting choice. I think the word you meant to use there was a very stupid choice. Like when I watched, we were watching the triple threat match and I saw them start to fight each other. I was like, no, what the fuck are they doing? Please don't do this. And then they're like, we're going to do ding dong hello. It's like, oh, okay. Ding dong hello. They're going to break them up. It was such a stupid choice. But Tidey, thank you for the questions. He went crazy with them, and I really appreciate it. Very good questions going on there. Tyler Peters, Wrestle Buddy. Everybody's favorite Wrestle Buddy, Tyler Peters. He asked me what my top 3 favorite movies are. Unfortunately, this changes so much, but these 3 are always in my top 5, so I'll stick with them. Mallrats, 100%. Army of Darkness, even though the whole Evil Dead franchise could be put here, and then the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, because it is the most beautiful movie ever made. You don't need to be nice about it. It was a rehashed thing that they did, and it was a dumb decision to do it. Like dumb. I know you have seen me not like someone and then grow to love them. Who is one of yours? I'll come back to that one. That's a really good question. I'll have to think about that because I'm completely off the Young Bucks train, hype train as of now. After that shit last 2 weeks, can't do it. Not gonna praise him no more. But I'll get back to that one. Oh no, I can answer right now. Will Ospreay. Whoo! That boy is a bad man. Will Ospreay. I hope we get to see him more on American television. I really do. I don't want to have to work to go watch him. I want it to be just at my fingertips. Next up, we got my buddy These Games. If you're out there looking for video game content to check out, These Games is your guy. He hit me with some questions. He says, you have the final say of the 2 main events at WrestleMania. Do you fit Sammy in? And if so, how? And then does he win a title? So I'll say this. At this point, yes, he is main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania with Kevin Owens taking on the Usos. And yes, he does win a title because he beats them for both of the tag titles at the end of night 1 at WrestleMania. And then they hug in the ring holding all 4 titles and they get rained on with confetti as we all scream and shout and send our love to them because it's a wonderful moment. And yeah, so that's the Sami Zayn. That's how I fit him into the main events of WrestleMania and his title aspirations. That's a good top 5. I would say I have. That's 1, 2, 3. I would say I got 3 of those in my top 5. 3 of those in my top Next question from D's Games. He says, how would you fix Saraya in AEW? This was another great question. I was very happy to get. Her run so far has been horrible in a lot of people's minds. Is it booking or is it her? That's a trick question because I feel like the booking is her. She is running her book, and they're basically not putting handcuffs on her. They're just letting her run with whatever she wants. That's what it seems like, and it's bad. It's bad. I think there's something to it, but the way she's doing it is bad. She just seems like she's one that kind of needs people to kind of put her in check. Like, hey, we like this part of your idea, but this part we need to throw away, and maybe we can work together to find out how to get to this idea you have and make it effective and entertaining, because spray painting people and chasing them and it doesn't work anymore. I'd literally I'd take away most of her creative power. That the easiest way I could say it. I'd still work with her. I want her input. You have to have their input if you want it to come across natural. So I would definitely want input. I don't want her having just say so over whatever. And I'd continue running the angle they have now, because I think there is a lot of just, it could be really, really fun and good. I would just do it more serious. I wouldn't be spray painting Toni Storm's ass and have her hit someone with it. I wouldn't be trying to spray paint Willow Knight. I don't even know what that's about. I wouldn't be doing that stuff. I would make her come across as a more serious threat, because you brought her in as a very serious threat. Treat her like one. Make her come across as one. And yeah, I would just do that instead of what they're doing now, because she just kind of takes it as a joke. And she was gone for so long. Like, if she's coming back, she should be taking this seriously. And if she wants to be a badass, make her a badass. Take it seriously, though. It doesn't work for me. I don't think it works for a lot of people, what they're doing, because a lot of people are bitching about it. Even the true, like, diehard AEW fans are bitching about it. It's just not good. Make her more serious. Cameron, what is up, Cameron Dillon? Thank you for joining me. You can ask a question. Maybe you can win a prize, man. I'm just taking the Q&A right today. Saraya hasn't taken off like people had hoped. Then their in-ring work stands out more than where she is now. I'm not even going to shit on her in-ring work, because I don't think it's horrible for someone who missed as much as she did and had the injury that she had. I don't have any I don't want to shit on it, because, again, like, she had 3 matches, I think, in AEW, and she was gone for like 6 years or something like that. And it was a very bad injury. So just make her more serious. Honestly, that's all you have to do. That's what I say. I'm excited about her, but want to see what she can do. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Everybody's saying hello to Cameron. Cameron's saying hello back. So that's good. Thank you for joining the group, Cameron. I hope you hear every week, man. They have to get the story they're telling reined into where it's more serious and less juvenile. Yeah, we're on the same page. I do have a question for the people watching. Obviously, a lot of people thinking this is very NWO-esque, and there's that third person that's going to join them, a la Hogan and the Outsiders. If you had to choose someone from AEW to join Saraya and Toni Storm in that Hogan position, they have to be kind of a big deal. Who are y'all picking? I want y'all's answers. Boom. My favorite wrestler right this moment is Sami Zayn. Good question. If you watch the show, you continue to watch it, you will see how much I love me some Sami Zayn. I do like most everybody, though. Most everybody I like. So that's what that is. But his next question, he says, Adam Cole or CM Punk? Who is sexiest? Man, I don't know if you saw his beautiful hair on Wednesday, but Adam Cole wins that hands down. CM Punk's old and he's kind of looking like me. So Adam Cole wins that one easy. Man, he just trying to push my buttons. He knows Adam Cole and CM Punk will do it. His next question, is Sami Zayn and the Bloodline the greatest story ever told in WWE history? Yes, absolutely. 100%. Without a doubt. There's nothing else that even comes close. That's it. It's the best thing WWE has ever done. What I will say can ruin it is the ending. If they completely botch the ending, a la Sting, Hollywood Hogan, Bret Hart, Starrcade, then it kind of dampers things a little bit. But even with a bad ending, I can't think of many things that even stand even close to what the Bloodline has done. Undertaker and Kane had too many flops in it. Vince McMahon and Stone Cold was too cartoonish. It was a great feud story, not so much. And that's really that the Yes Movement stuff was great, but I don't think it was. I think it was more of just a moment as opposed to a story. So I wouldn't even put it up there with that. So that's my thing. I think it is 100%. I'm definitely up to listening to some options. Well, happy late birthday, Cameron. Britt would have to be the one to flip where she's considered one of the pillars. Mercedes would be there enough to make it work. So here's okay. A lot of people think Britt, and since she's part of it, I would rather see Jade Cargill step into this position because she needs something. The what Jade Cargill is doing is nothing, but she's still looked at as a big fucking deal in AEW. She is an AEW original. Like she was there from day one, but she's never wrestled anywhere else that I know of. At least she literally chose AEW over WWE. To me, she's an AEW original. She should join the XWE girls. AEW isn't giving her the time and spots that she deserves, that she thinks she deserves. So she joins Saraya and Toni Storm and takes them. That's my choice. I think. When do I live stream? Every Sunday night, this time, 8 to 9. I don't know what time zone you're in, but 8 to 9 Central Time. Eastern, it's 9 to 10, I think. UK, sorry, I can't keep track of them all. But yeah, this very time, between the last hour and the next hour, that's our time. Usually I go over a little bit. And also, Monday nights on the Wrestle Buddy channel, I do Raw recaps in case you don't get to see all of Monday Night Raw. So that's where you can check me out there, Cameron. That's when I do some live streaming. And then D's Games also asks, who is the one wrestler who hasn't written a book yet that you'd most like to read? This one was harder than I thought it would be because I didn't know Brock Lesnar had a book, and I think he would be a fantastic read. Now that I know he has one, I'm going to go find it because it seems like it would be a very fantastic read. Rob Van Dam. He has a movie, I think, that he produced or something like that about his intake and the benefits and everything of it. No book. I didn't see anything on a book from Rob Van Dam. So yeah, that's my guy. That's the book I'd want to read. I think he would have phenomenal stories to tell. And then the last guy that has asked me some questions is my good buddy Gary Tate, another awesome dude, one of my better buddies on Twitter. Hey, I really appreciate that, Cameron. I'll try and entertain you as much as I can. I feel like I'm pretty entertaining. I'm pretty smart too. So I appreciate the support. I really do. How are you finding, Gary asked, how are you finding the MCU at the minute? And I'm glad he asked this one because I literally just watched Ant-Man last week and I was mad. This was my first tattoo right here. And I got it when Endgame came out because I love the MCU. Ever since Endgame come out, if one of the movies is good, Far From Home, No Way Home, Shang-Chi, man, the movies are awesome. Awesome movies. The rest of them don't even feel like MCU movies. They feel like movies that have characters from the MCU in them. That's what Ant-Man felt like. It felt like a Star Wars movie, a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie, and Ant-Man just happened to be the star of it. And it was like, what the heck is this? What was it? Doctor Strange. And man, cool concept. I love the visuals because Sam Raimi, Evil Dead, I love horror shit. That was very cool. There was no point in the movie. It was a silly movie, in my opinion. Yeah, you want to join me? Yeah, we go back and forth on Monday nights for sure. I stand my ground. Star Wars. That was Ant-Man. So I think the MCU needs to go back to making movies for themselves and not making a movie and then be like, let's just put Captain America in it. It's Milo and Otis, and then Captain America's like, no, don't do that. Give me a Captain America movie and put Captain America in it. That's what I want to see in the MCU. They need to do that more often. From there, he asks, Gary Tate asks, if you are put in charge of the AEW female talent, what do you do? And this is going to sound pretty crazy because I was just talking shit about her, but I make Saraya the champion, and I do it because it's going to piss people off. And I've noticed, I've said this for a long time. I think Tony Khan needs to start pissing his fans off a little bit more. That way they appreciate the good moments. Right here. He's been doing it with some things. I think you do it here with Saraya. Put the belt on her. because you have a champion that we want to lose. We don't want to see Saraya as champion because she's a heel. We hate her. We just hate her. So you put the belt on her. It's like, yo, I want to see her lose. So then when she does lose, I automatically am a fan of that baby face that got that moment over Saraya. It's very easy. It's very simple booking. Do it that way. That's what I would do with as far as the championship goes. I would invest heavily in a tag team division because they have plenty of females on the roster to do it. And a lot of them have nothing to do. Give me a tag division. Yeah, you have it. You could do something that WWE has failed to do 100%. They just can't do it for whatever reason. Do it. Try it. Make something of it. And then you have that show Rampage on Friday nights that people just continue to stop watching over and over again because you're not really doing anything new or special on it. Make Rampage a more women-driven show. Focus more on the women on that one. Give me a tag match and a singles match with the women every single week on that. We used to have Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs run that show. Give me the tag division running that show on Friday nights because guess what? Rampage is dying. Let's see if you can salvage it. Do something different. Give the ladies a chance and do something different. Maybe it'll help. Do that. That's what I would do with the women's division. See, another woman. There's plenty of women do a tag division. We met Jamie today. She was one of the sweetest people I've ever met. She was so fucking sweet. And my girl Amanda got to hold the title. So she was a champ. And Jamie Hayter told her she needed to take her ass over to San Francisco and defend it for her next week. I think Jamie Hayter a little scared of Saraya because I just said Saraya gonna be the champ. So maybe you should go defend it for her, babe. All these women use the tag division on Rampage. Do it. Like what? What's there to lose at this point? There's nothing to lose. So that's what I would do if I was in charge of the women's division. That's the first things I would do. Saraya champ. Rampage is heavily featured by the women and the new tag division that they got. American touch rugby is really shit, isn't it? The NFL is what he's referring to. And yep, I agree. It has gone downhill so much over the last 20 years. It's engineered to help offenses. I can't get behind it. They just break records every fucking year now. Man, it's horrible to watch. It is horrible to watch. They've completely removed defense from it, and and they've eliminated fun from it completely. My man Chad Ochocinco was the last of the dying breed, and they've ruined the NFL for me. It's garbage. So yes, I'm with you guys 100%. And get the UK, my UK brethren, I'm with you 100%. The the American touch rugby is shit. Who is my favorite wrestler on AEW? At the moment, it's Darby Allin. I love CM Punk. He's still on the roster. I love Adam Cole. The 2 tattoos I got on me, actually. The only 2 wrestling tattoos I got at the moment. But at the moment, Darby Allin is too fucking fun to watch. He's my favorite on AEW. Yeah, I think it's easy to find one from the promotions. It's never going to be the same though. If you enjoy wrestling, and I know David enjoys wrestling, and I enjoy it, and Courtney enjoy it. I think we all enjoy it. It's very hard to pick one, and then that's your person for a very long time. It's always going to change. It's always going to change. Just like a year ago, my favorite was Kevin Owens, and now it's Sami Zayn. 2 years ago was Adam Cole. Like it's always going to change. So Becky Lynch stays up there though. Gary takes next question. When are you visiting the UK? Man, it's on the bucket list. I hope so, within the next 3 years I can make it happen. I really do. I want to go so bad. I wanted to move over there at one point. It's a big deal to me. I hope it's soon. He then asks, Gary says, he asked me tell me 5 things that you think would improve AEW ratings. Here you go. Number 1, CM Punk. I'm not even going to get into this with anybody. If you don't agree, then you don't know facts and numbers and all that. You just don't. So that's that. Number 1, CM Punk. Number 2, I'm going to make Jade Cargill a bigger fucking deal. She's like, I don't ever like when I tune into Dynamite, I know there's certain people I'm going to see every week. I'm going to see Mox. I'm more than likely going to see MJF. I'm more than likely going to see the Elite, which I didn't last week. That was a very nice surprise. And it's not shitting on him. It's just I don't want to see him every week. I don't think I should. Britt Baker. There's just names I'm always going to see on Dynamite. Jade Garkill should be one of those names. She's young. She looks like more of a star than anybody else in that roster does. You have an undefeated streak going on with her. The fact you're not playing up to that more is kind of weird. And give her some opponents. Don't keep giving her these like just people that we know she's not going to lose to. But make her a bigger deal. Let the people see her, because when people see her, they're like, "Oh, who's this?" She is a freak of nature. She is a superstar. You just have to give her the moments. Boom. Oh my God. What a fucking statement. Why is she not being treated like Roman Reigns? For real. For real. My God. It's crazy to me. It's crazy that I'm just like, when am I going to see Jade again? Oh, she's facing this non-signed person and beating them in 2 minutes. Come on. Come on. That's why I say put her with Saraya and Tony, make her part of that. It would be so big. Number 3, I keep any titles, like the physical title. If it's not an AEW champion, don't put it on the show. And I know there's people going to have a bit. You can still say, oh, he's the Ring of Honor champion. They're the New Japan champion. They're the Stardom champion. They're the Impact champion. The GC. Go ahead. You can call them the champions or whatever. Keep the belts off because it's very, very confusing for the fans who don't know all of this stuff. They're like, why does everybody on this fucking show have a belt? It shouldn't be that way. So I'm not against having those people wrestle on the show. I just don't think, like when you have FTR run around with 3 sets of tag titles and none of them are AEW, and someone tunes in to watch AEW and they're like, oh, there's the tag champs. They're not the AEW tag champs, but they have 3. It's very confusing for those fans. And if you want to grow and you want those ratings to, you gotta appease a certain fan base. You can't just appease the one. You gotta appease multiple levels of it. I'm going to stop promoting the whole show ahead of time. Every week, we know exactly what's going to happen on Dynamite every single week because they give away all the matches. They give away all the segments, all that stuff. Give me a main event. Give me a segment. Maybe give me a second match. That's fine. Don't give me the whole show. Give me a reason to tune in. Okay, your main event is Mox versus Hangman. That's a match I want to watch. Let me tune in. Let me have to tune in to be like, what else is going to happen, as opposed to be like, well, I know this is going to happen. I know this is going to happen. So maybe I'll just come back later. Because you see in the ratings when they do the breakdowns, I hate these things, but you see it, they go like this. Like it's because people know what's going to happen, and that if it's not happening at that moment, they can just turn it off, turn it back on. So with Jade, I think they're trying to get her in ring as close as they can to the presentation as they can, so when she gets those upper tier matches, they don't flop or turn on. I think it's very easy. You just hide her inability by making the matches shorter. Because when she fought, I think it was Tay Conti. At a pay-per-view last year, it was like they gave her 15 minutes with Tay, and that shouldn't be the case. Sorry. That's nothing against Tay, and it's nothing against Jade. Again, I'm trying to push Jade here, but work with what you got. Jade is too good. You've already put her on TV. You've already started this streak. You've already put a title on her. You can't hide her and just hold her down. You got to sink or swim. Put her in there with just people and let her just have just fast matches. If she doesn't beat him, who cares? You're supposed to be making her come out, look like this unstoppable monster. So she's beating the people in like 5 minutes. Who cares, man? It really don't matter. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. She's not treated like she should, though. Who would have in a real fight? I'm taking Braun Strowman. That's a strong man. Yeah, I get the reference. But yeah, Jade Cargill, that's that. And then 5, I'm going to utilize the roster. And I know this is going to sound asinine coming from me because I defended WWE for so long when they didn't utilize the roster. But it's a different program. It's a different promotion. Some of these guys that they put on the show every week don't draw like they think they do. Give other people on that roster. It's a very, very deep roster. Give some of them guys opportunities before it's too late. Why am I seeing Matt Hardy in Private Party every week? They don't ever get in the, and when they do, I know they're going to lose. I know exactly how they're going to lose because I've been watching them for so long do the same shit over and over again. Give someone else those opportunities so that maybe people tune in. They're like, oh, who's this guy? I've never seen him before. I like him. So that's it. CM Punk, make Jade Cargill a big fucking deal. Keep any physical titles that aren't AEW off the TV. Stop promoting the whole show ahead of time. Make people tune in to find out what's actually going to happen. And I utilize the roster more. And if I'm going to add a 6, cursed Danhausen. Put him on the fucking TV. Get him away from the best friends. Get him away from him. That's not a knock on best friends. I think they're fun. Get Danhausen away from him. Find something to do with this man and get him. He makes y'all so much money. There's a reason for that. And those relationships with other promotions get those mentions from those belts. They don't put them all in there, though. All titles and promotions are. But at the same time, there's been other moments where they were all over it. So if they've started not putting them on there, awesome. Good job. Fantastic. That's what they should be. But when they do, again, I don't know how many times I'm in a group chat with people who just really dislike AEW because they always have to see Ring of Honor shit on there. They're like, they tune into AEW to watch AEW, not to watch Ring of Honor. And they always were seeing Ring of Honor stuff. So it was a complaint they had. Is it a justified complaint? I'm not here to say yes or no, but I will say these are people who were watching and they stopped because of this thing that was happening. So that's a problem. Who do you have at WrestleMania? Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes. She said I'm going to say Sammy because I think Sammy should have been the guy that did it at Montreal, but that's neither here nor there. I'm over it. I'm just on to the next phase of my life where Sami Zayn becomes tag champion and never becomes world champion. I'm okay with it. But yeah, Cody Rhodes. I think he wins. Danhausen will likely be getting quite a bit of time with Ring of Honor, which is where it comes. Hey, and do that. I'll tune in for it because I want to watch Danhausen, who we also met again today. I love meeting Danhausen. He's fucking awesome. And then the last question of the day it is from Gary Tate as well. He says, book this year's Mania. Not necessarily a question, just a kind of a request. And I'll say this. I've got matches that I think are locked in for WrestleMania. I'll just go with that. I'm not going to do a whole booking because those take a while. I'll just go with the matches we have, and I'll run down them real quick. Damage Control versus Ronda and Shayna for the tag titles. I assume there'll probably be 2 more tag teams added to this. It'll be a 4-way like they usually do at WrestleMania. Becky and Lita, and then I don't know, someone else. I don't know, just somebody. Raquel and Liv. There you go. Do those 4. That's what I think happens there. And I put the belts on Ronda and Shayna. As much as I hate Ronda, give Shayna a damn run. And then when they break up, let Shayna just destroy Ronda. That's how I do that one. Rey Mysterio versus Dom Mysterio. Yeah, I make it. Dom takes his mask and then starts just wearing it. Rey Mysterio retires. That's how I book that one. Dom beats him, and he cheats to do it too. That way Rey comes back and is like, you didn't beat me fair, Dom. And yeah, I would do that. Dom cheats, takes his mask, starts wearing it, and then Rey comes back. I don't know. At next year's Mania, something like that. That's what I do. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. Man, I was completely against this, but the more I think about it, the more I think it's just so good for Seth Rollins here. The dude he oozes charisma. You put him against Logan Paul, there's going to be a lot of media coverage of this one in particular. You're going to put a man who is as flamboyant and awesome as Seth Rollins in there with him. I think Seth Rollins is going to be getting some phone calls after WrestleMania. I think he's going to be getting a call to Hollywood. I firmly believe that. If this match goes on and they get the media coverage that I think they will because of the Logan Paul effect. Seth Rollins, if he doesn't win, I'm going to have a big problem. I'm going to lose my mind. Seth Rollins should definitely win this. Gunther versus Drew versus Sheamus. I have Sheamus beat Gunther to take the Intercontinental title off of I have Sheamus beat Drew to take the Intercontinental title off Gunther. That's what I do. That way Gunther loses that IC title. He can, and then he can move on to bigger and better things. He doesn't lose, so he still looks like a monster. And then you can have Sheamus and Drew who do banger after banger after banger. I don't care how many times they wrestle. It's always going to be fantastic. And you let them two just go at each other. I think that would be great. Let's get the comments real quick before I go any further. They had to at the time, the show stars. So I get that to an extent, but there was too much Ring of Honor on the show. I had a hard time seeing the AW stuff because there was so much Ring of Honor stuff. That's the problem I had with it. Dom with the mask as a luchador would be putting on mask on Mr. Bean. Hey, and it works. That's the character of him, though. It works, man. It's funny. Man, what's bad is I can see it happening. I can see it. I'll lose my mind. Seth has to win. But then we have Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt. I don't care. That's so bad to say, but I just don't care. Tidey's gonna be mad at me next week when I bring up Bray Wyatt because, man, I don't even know at this point. Bray probably win that, but Logan would get the clicks. But he don't need to win to get the clicks. They just need the clicks beforehand. Then you have Brock Lesnar versus Omos. Again, I don't think it's happening, but I don't know what's happening, so I'm just gonna go with it since I'm booking Mania for old Gary here. Brock Lesnar just destroys him. I don't even. If Omos wins, why? Nothing about it makes sense to me. So again, I don't think it happens, but Brock Lesnar versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Give me that damn match. But Brock Lesnar destroys Omos. Charlotte versus Rhea. Here you go. I'm not even joking when I say this, and it has nothing to do with me hating Charlotte Flair. First off, I see a lot of people saying this should main event night one. No, it shouldn't. We don't just put things in the main event just to put them in the main event. You have to earn those spots. And if everybody saw SmackDown knows these girls did not earn that spot. They have a lot of work to do to catch up to Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and the Usos. Not happening. But I would have Rhea Ripley absolutely destroy Charlotte Flair in a squash match. Because what this effectively does is it makes Rhea Ripley look like the biggest badass in the women's division, hands down. She just eviscerated the greatest of all time. And then it also makes Charlotte Flair have to rebuild herself for the first time in a very, very, very long time. And maybe that makes her interesting again. We don't have to put a title around her. We could just have her work her way back up into the main event. So that's what I do there. Rhea destroys her. Just absolutely, just 4 minutes, just beats the holy piss out of Charlotte Flair. That's what I would do. I think Brock and Omos would be more entertaining than those for sure. I do think that. I don't think it'd be a great match, but I think it could be entertaining. It's not happening though. Then we have Bianca versus Asuka. And again, I don't like that I'm picking it this way, but I think Bianca should beat Asuka. I love Asuka, but Bianca's at a level now where a win is very elevating for whoever does it. Asuka don't need that. She don't need it. So if anything, it helps Bianca go on another, just elevate herself a little bit more and puts her a little higher. That's what I do with Bianca and Asuka. Bianca just goes over on her and then continues to do her Super Cena run. Yeah. And how do you get her out of the picture? Title picture for a while? You have Rhea Ripley absolutely fucking destroy her. You don't have any reason to sniff the titles anymore, Charlotte, because you just got embarrassed. Sami, Kevin versus... Yeah, absolutely. The story going into WrestleMania is the bloodline. If we're ending the bloodline, you end them at the end of each night. Who I think is the best wrestler? I personally think it's Seth Rollins. From top to bottom, I look at professional wrestling as everything: character work, mic work, in-ring work, selling, the whole shebang. And I think Seth Rollins is better at a lot of those other things than some of the other guys who are better at him in the ring are. So that's why I put him over people like Ospreay and Omega. If we're talking about strictly in ring, I'll go ahead and say Will Ospreay without a shadow of a doubt. I just think Seth does better stories. And he's character work is not even a question. It's not even a question. So an arrogant madman. I see people asking this. He's an arrogant madman. He knows he is fucking great. And he just does whatever he wants to who's going to stop him? That's his character. It's nothing like groundbreaking, but I mean, you could literally say this about a lot of people. Like for the longest time, people were like, what is Orange Cassidy's character? Half the people were like, Orange Cassidy is so great. The character's amazing. Other people were like, what the fuck is it? Seth's character is literally an arrogant lunatic. That's it. The best in the world. There you go. That's the character. Usos versus Sami and Kevin Owens. Obviously, Sami and Kevin Owens win this match. It's going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be awesome. Theory. That's all I got to say about it. It's just going to be awesome. Man, I would rather have seen Jimmy versus Jay, though. Austin Theory versus John Cena. Austin Theory has to go over here. And honestly, the way I'd play it is I'd have Austin Theory just start doing United States title open challenges every single week. And then he says he's going to do it at WrestleMania. And then no mention of John Cena the entire time. You just get the teases that Austin Theory's been doing anyway, where he goes, the champ is here. And he's brought up John Cena a few times. So I do that. And then John Cena shows up that night, goes out there, gives him a hell of a match. Austin Theory still goes over, though. That's what I do. And then Roman versus Cody. I have Cody win. I have Solo Sikoa. I don't say cost Roman, but not help Roman. And then walks out on him with Paul Heyman. And that's that. Who's going to stop him? Matt Riddle, Austin Theory, and Cody with the scene. But you're looking too much into wins and losses, man. That's the part where me and you are always going to disagree on stuff. Because wins and losses are not that big of a deal. They're just not. And then when Cody beat him, what happened? He sent Cody bye-bye. So pound him into dust and leave no doubt. And I don't know about that. Have it be a fun match. But he should, it's kind of like the Seth and Logan thing. I'll fucking riot if Austin Theory loses. That's right. John Cena will be back on Raw, the 6th of March, Raw. It's in Boston, his hometown. Yeah. So, yeah, that makes sense. So, yeah, that's that. That was the questions. So, with that said, I enjoyed a lot of them. I don't know. Man, I don't know. I'm going to announce the one winner tomorrow. I'm going to do a little randomizer to pick who wins that. As far as my favorite question, I'll tell you what. These games, as much as I didn't spend that much time on it, and as silly as the question even seemed, I did really appreciate. I liked the question about how I would fix Saraya and AEW. I think it was my favorite one, other than the WrestleMania one. But again, that was Sean Ross Sapp question, man. So I'm going to pick these games for that one, and then I'm going to do a randomizer and pick the winner for tomorrow. That's what I'll do for that. But with that, thank you guys for tuning in, even with my better half gone. I appreciate it. Tidey will be watching this later, so I hope I answered his questions to what he was expecting. With the cliffhanger. Yeah, that's how wrestling shows are supposed to do it, baby. Leave it on a cliffhanger so you have to tune in again. So if anybody's watching, you're trying to find, where am I going to find out who won? You got to come to my page tomorrow at Jimmy Bebe on Twitter. Hey, man, I appreciate you tuning in, man. I appreciate it much. I will see y'all next time. And again, Wrestle Buddies YouTube channel is where I'm at on Monday nights for the Raw recap. A lot of fun. So hopefully you join us for that. Thank you for joining. And then, there you go. It's a good group here, so I appreciate you tuning in, man. But yeah, I'm gonna randomize the other people because there's I think 7 or 8, and it's easy to do it that way. But yeah, thank you. Tidey will be back next week, I assume. I'm pretty sure he will be, in which we'll be talking about stuff. We might be just dissecting Bray because I think I've officially jumped off the Bray bandwagon. They gonna join tomorrow. Yeah, there you go. Maybe I'll announce on Wrestle Buddies thing too. So if y'all aren't on my channel, on my page, because you don't like me for some reason, you don't like my page, but you like my shows, come to the show. Raw recap. I'll do it then too. Good idea, babe. Good idea. Like I said, my better half. I got a better half in real life. I got a better half on the show. He just ain't here this week. So yeah, I think next week we're gonna dissect Bray Wyatt. I'm off the bandwagon. I fucking love Bray, but man, Bray is. Yeah, it seems that way. Oh man, yeah, and I used to. I can't after Friday. I don't even know what's going on. But that's the show. I'll be back tomorrow. Again, thank you guys for joining me and the Raw Recap on Wrestle Buddies channel. Check it out at Jimmy Bay Bay on Twitter. You can check me out there. I talk about wrestling, and I'm going to be announcing a winner. Drip King of Wrestling on Facebook, the group where I'm just trying to create a positive place for people to talk about wrestling and not have to worry about the toxicity and tribalism of all this shit that we see everywhere else. And back next week to talk about Bray Wyatt. That's what we're doing for sure on the Positively Awesome Wrestling podcast with my main man, Tidey. So until then, I will see y'all tomorrow and Sunday. Toodles, goodbye, and congratulations, D's, and whoever wins tomorrow.